O-1A continues to be a viable pathway for people who can meet at least 3 criteria. That's not to say they're automatically going to be approved, but approval rates are very high. And so I've seen employers try cases where before we would have thought it was a super weak case, very unlikely to be approved, and they're being approved without RFE, which is really nice. Some of them are still getting RFEs, so it's not like USCIS has opened the floodgates on this category. They do press people to show that they have extraordinary ability, and they do really require that you solidly meet at least 3 criteria, but it is much more open than it was in the past. I think USCIS is trying to take into account that some very talented people just don't have any other work visa option. And so as long as the person can show that they are actually very talented and doing important work to the US, that they can warrant the O-1A.
Are you seeing more people apply for O-1A or even O-1B?
Yes, so I wouldn't say more as far as volume, but more as in people with profiles that might not have applied in the past are applying now and are getting approved.
Are you seeing people build towards an O-1A or O-1B profile?
I've actually talked to a lot of people this year who will be running out of STEM OPT in 1 or 2 years and who are definitely building an O1 profile in the hopes that that can be their principal backup option if they don't get the H-1B lottery either next year or the year after. And I do think that's a good idea. Like, O1 is not going to be possible for every recent grad who's on STEM OPT or OPT. It really is going to be out of reach for a lot of people. But for people who had a career prior to going into their master's degree program in the US, or for people who have graduated now with a PhD, like both those scenarios where you have significant experience or you are doing important research, both of those kinds of profiles are good for building a potential O1.